All right, menstruating humans, we need to talk. In the United States alone, approximately 12 billion pads and 7 billion tampons are discarded each year. And while many of these products end up in a landfill, others end up clogging sewers or contribute to the staggering amounts of plastic in our oceans. Before we get too far into this, I would like to acknowledge that there are certain medical conditions in which using reusable menstrual products would not be advised, and to each their own comfort. But with so many options on the market these days, we can all at least reduce our reliance on plastic and chemical-laden menstrual supplies and choose options that are better for our bodies and the environment. I started using reusable menstrual supplies back in college, and at the time, I think I even had to order them because it wasn't possible to buy them where I lived. They just weren't available. That was just over 10 years ago, and let me tell you, reusable menstrual supplies have come a long way since then. They're more affordable, they're easier to find, and more comfortable than ever before. Instead of using tampons, there are cups, there are flexible discs, and the company Thinx even came out with a reusable sanitary plastic applicator that you can use with their tampons if you like that traditional method, but you don't like the thought of throwing away plastic every time you use one. You can also safely wear most cups for up to 12 hours, which is way longer than you should be using any tampon for. And you just have to wash them with a mild soap. Most companies sell a soap that is specifically designed to preserve the longevity of your cup. Instead of pads, you have washable liners, washable pads, and different styles of underwear. There are a ton of period underwear companies out there these days. The initial ones, the first time I started looking around 10 years ago, not the most attractive designs. You can choose your style based on the heaviness of your flow or your own personal aesthetic. A lot of companies have even started to make boxer brief designs for trans inclusion. Now, you may be thinking, how do I wash them? Honestly, just with the rest of your clothes. I've never had an issue with staining or anything like that. Most companies do recommend that you rinse them out in the sink first before throwing them in with your wash. If you're concerned about it, just wash it with darker colors. Do they work? Yes. Do they take a little getting used to? Sometimes. I would really never go back at this point, and not just because I like to try to be as sustainable as possible, but just from a personal preference. I know there have been a few times that I've been without one of my reusable products and I had to swipe a plasticky pad or a tampon applicator from a friend, and I really, at this point, those are so uncomfortable to me, I would never go back to the conventional single-use items. I have obviously not tried every company on the market, as that in itself would not be sustainable. I've found products and companies that I love, and I've just stuck with them. Diva Cup is the brand that I've always used for my menstrual cup. There's also Salt, there's Lunette. Lunette, I think, comes in fun colors. If you don't want to have a see-through silicone cup, you can get one that's colored and more fun. Or you can just go with the old standard. Diva Cup was, I think, one of the original ones out there, and they're still here today. This next company has kind of a funny name. It's named Party in My Pants, and I would say it's one of the more common ones to find at co-ops and your local sustainability shops. They have a line of liners, pads. They have like 15 different sizes and styles that you can choose from. They have flannel ones that feel a little softer. They have organic cotton that feels a little cooler. These are the favorites that I use pretty much every cycle. And they even have a first liner free program. If you're wondering, they do cost a little more upfront, but over the span of thinking of how many pads and tampons that you would be using, in the end, you really do end up saving money purchasing these reusable products up front and using them for as long as you can. If you're not sure you want to drop the money on them right away, just go to partypantspads.com and you can check out their free liner option. Try it out, see if you like it. If it's not for you, that's okay. At least you tried. The original company that I remember going through back in the day, I did have to order these ones. It was called Luna Pads, and I looked them up today because I honestly just hadn't heard from them in a while, and they have since rebranded. They are now called Aisle, like the grocery store aisle or the menstrual supplies aisle, and they have different cuts of underwear, they have pads still, and they have some accessories on their site too. The only period underwear that I have actually tried myself are Thinx. They were one of the first brands to come out kind of within maybe the past 5 to 6 years or so. So they were the newer interpretation of the period underwear. Luna pads did have an underwear line. They were not the cutest. The newer ones from their rebrand aisle, I think, are much more attractive. All of the ones that I've worn from Thinx, I've really enjoyed. I had their first run. I was kind of an early adopter, I guess you could say. And they've since come out with cotton varieties and some mesh varieties, better for athletics if you're gonna be sweating at all, or if you just prefer a lighter fit. Really, as someone who's been using these things for over the past 10 years, a lot more companies have come out, newer fabric technology, newer size inclusion, gender inclusion. If you tried something out back in the day and it just didn't really float your boat, I've tried some companies that I've not been a fan of. Try them again. See with the new technology, the new brands, the new fits, maybe you'll find something you like. Or if you've been on the fence about wanting to try something new and you're just kind of squeamish, you're not really sure, check out the Party in My Pants website, get their free liner. I believe you do have to pay shipping, but then they give you a credit toward your next purchase. So you might end up spending a whole $5 on a liner instead of the usual cost, which I think would be around $12. So allow me to give you the nudge that you needed. If you needed one more little push in that direction, here you go. Reusable products really most of the time are much better for us, our bodies, and the environment. Again, there are medical considerations. If you cannot use these reusable products, please do not feel any guilt around that. Everyone has their needs, everyone has their personal preference. Please do what suits you best. But just like anything else, do what you can. Small steps really add up to big change. Reusable products do cost a little more upfront, but again, you will end up using them for years. You are going to end up saving so much money in the long run, so much more comfortable, in my personal opinion. Please, as always, do what you can. Do not do anything that makes you extraordinarily uncomfortable. Just keep going, pick your battles, and do a little better every day. I hope you have enjoyed this mini-sode. Check out the Ethical Consumer podcast for more.